everyone. Welcome to our live case study. I'm super excited today to share this couple's full transformation of what can happen inside of our Macros for Life program. If you're tuning in right now, if you will do me a favor and give me a yes in the chat, if you can hear and see me, that would be wonderful. So we know that the audio and the video are working for you. And just let us know where you're tuning in from and what are you looking to get out of today. So I see a lot of people are jumping on and I'm really excited for you. You're going to get a lot of value out of today's case study. You're going to get a lot out of being here and I just can't wait to share this story with you. I'm very, very excited. And again, this will be full of value for you. As you're signing in, if you'll just drop where you're signing in from. I know I am outside of Austin, Texas, and Leander, and then I know that our case study they're going to be from Tennessee. So let me know if we have anyone from the states of Texas or Tennessee. That would be wonderful, and just drop those into the comments there, and then I will be sure to dive into those in just a bit. All right. So thank you so much for being here. If you will give this video a like, one of the best things that you can do right now is just share this video out with anyone that you think will benefit from seeing this story. So let's get started without further ado. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Michelle Black. I'm the founder of a program called Macros for Life, where we help women in perimenopause and menopause lose their weight without using any diets, not restricting any calories, carbs, or even fats, and not even meal plans. Okay, we're actually learning how to lose weight as a lifestyle. We actually teach them the lifestyle of proper nutrition for their bodies and lifestyle habits. And this is just going to be one of the amazing transformation stories inside of our Macros for Life program. All right, awesome. I see that we've got someone from Hartsville, Tennessee. That is super, super exciting. It is actually Lisa's mother, so super, super exciting. I have a few on here that are letting me know that obviously the audio and video are working awesome, but I can't see until I get off of who those are, who those are. So I'm going to give a shout out. Do we have anyone on who is actually in the MFL or Macros for Life program? If you are, I would be super excited if you will give us a thumbs up or yes in the chat so that we would know that you're here as well. All right. Okay, awesome. So today's story is pretty amazing. You've heard me say this before, but it really takes doing the right things to get the best results, not the most things you can do. And this is the right formula for success. And prior to enrolling into our Macros for Life program, Lisa knew that she was doing things that just were not sustainable for weight loss and was having a pretty challenging time just getting there by yourself. Can you relate to that? Let me know in the chat if you're someone who's been struggling to lose weight, you're perimenopause, you're menopause, you're restricting your calories or your carbs or fats, and you're even trying to work out more and nothing's happening for you. The scale won't move. Okay, let me know. Would love to know, obviously, as we dive into the story of more how you can relate, okay? She felt like nothing was either sustainable or just not working for her, no matter how much effort she put in trying to lose the weight each day. And this went on for years. She tried fad diets, even some products, even working out more, and just felt that she was just stuck on the hamster wheel and unable to get any results. So she even had, and we'll dive into it a little bit as we bring Lisa up on stage, but she even had a surgery where she actually had to have part of her colon removed from long-term use of the ketogenic diet. So any of you on the ketogenic diet on here, I want you to really tune in so that you can really get some honest insight on this, okay? So in January of 2021, Lisa enrolled into the Macros for Life program. We started working together and quickly realized it was a great decision for her weight loss and health goals. Within just a few months of enrolling, Lisa was able to pivot away from the diet mentality of eating less and exercising more, and confidently being not able to lose weight, but reverse some of these pretty challenging health conditions and symptoms that she had of joint inflammation and indigestion. Join us as I talk with Lisa and her husband, David, as they share their incredible story of how they went from having no freedom, flexibility, or control with their weight or health to having total freedom, flexibility, and even able to reverse a lot of their health conditions, even getting off medications that allowed them to have the best possible quality of life, where they can focus their energy on their family and friends instead of their weight and their health issues. Today, we are going to talk to Lisa and David about how they went from burnt out to thriving with freedom, flexibility, and their weight and their health loss journey that allowed them the freedom they've never experienced prior to enrolling into the Macros for Life program. So here are just a few of the milestones that Lisa and David have seen since enrolling into the Macros for Life program. Once Lisa joined the MFL program, she felt comfort in knowing that there was a step-by-step process that was outlined by someone who knew more than she did. As a mom, wife, and grandmother, her time was very limited, but after simplifying her weight loss model, she has managed to not only lose her weight, but gain her life back with reversing the indigestion, the low energy levels, joint achiness, and inflammation, all going away so she could enjoy her life to the fullest. She has helped her husband lose over 100 pounds in sharing the strategies and tactics in the MFL program, and he has even got off some of his medications. The blueprint that we provide our clients when they enter the Macros for Life program allowed Lisa and David to transition from fad diets to products to freedom and flexibility in their life and enjoy food anywhere at any time. Since then, she's been able to support and impact her family in their weight loss journey. She went from the ketogenic diet, where she couldn't hardly enjoy any carbs, to being able to enjoy the carbs that she enjoys the most. And since joining, David and Lisa have been able to focus their energy on life rather than actually the focus on trying to lose the weight and health issues. So without further ado, I'm so excited to bring on Lisa and David.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I am so stoked and so happy to have you both here. I just love your story so much. And I know that there are so many people here tuning in right now. And I just know that you two sharing your story, that it's really going to help so many people and provide just really the inspiration that we've had, with a lot of people just sitting back behind, just feeling that there's no hope and doing, the things that are very similar that we'll talk about in this case study. So how are y'all doing?
Great.
Yep, doing good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so today we are going to dive in with Lisa and David specifically, and as I go through, they're going to share their stories and challenges. So hopefully this will inspire you also, that that there's hope that's out there, okay? So I just wanted to mention that obviously we were talking with a couple of my clients that joined my Macros for Life program, okay? And Lisa and David are a part of that. It's a program I created, okay, So if you're at a place where you're like, that is something I want to do, I want to lose weight without dieting, meal prepping, or restricting calories or carbs, there's going to be a link that I'm going to drop right into the chat where through this call, you can just fill that link out if you want to book a call and fill out the application to learn more. If Lisa and David's story resonates with you, okay? And you can just head there, fill out the application, and book a call with me to see if you're in the right place for the program and how we can best help you at this next step. All right, so I'm going to drop that in the chat just real quick. And then we will just head right in. All right, so I'm going to, obviously, as I ask the questions, I would like both of you, right, to kind of share your experiences in those. So Lisa and David, could you briefly just kind of give us your story or where your situation, what life was looking at as far as health and your weight before you joined the MFL program?
Well, I know for myself, I was had started what I think was menopause, and so the things that worked for me before that weren't working. I was eating less and exercising more, and I'd add more exercise, and the scale just kept going up. And I tried the keto and did that for, I would say, 2 years, trying to keep the carbs down as low as possible and stuff like that. That caused issues for me medically, and had to go in for surgery to get half my colon removed. And with that came the problems with the indigestion and all of that. And also I was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, and I think that was connected to the diverticulitis and stuff that I had going on. But anyway, so I was desperately looking for something, and I came across your group, and I thought, this woman acts like she really cares about people, and she's not has a lot of knowledge about this stuff, and so gosh, and so anyway, and then you mentioned having the Macros for Life group, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. And it was joining the group and learning about the balance of eating and how to pair your foods correctly and stuff like that. It was life changing, and I was able to, lose the weight. That was just a bonus, really, because the indigestion went away. I was able to get off the omeprazole. The interstitial cystitis, I was on 2 medications at night for that. I was able to get off of that. And I was thinking, I'm going to have to, my life is going to be around prescriptions and stuff. But thankfully, through the macros and balancing the food and pairing, I've been able to get off of those. And the last time we had a call, I think it's been a year ago or more. But anyway, this is 2 years that I've been doing this, and it's not hard, and it's very sustainable. I don't feel like I have to deprive myself of anything. You've taught me how to have it and how to balance it and stuff. So.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And David, what about you? Prior to Lisa joining the MFL program, where were you at as far as health and weight?
Well, I mean, I don't know how far you want to go back, but up until the late 90s, I was able to run a lot, but I worked offshore And the only places I could run was on helidex and steel decks. And I finally just damaged my knees and back to where I couldn't run anymore. So I started gaining weight. I don't know how if people do it, but you gain weight, you don't even realize you're getting heavier and heavier. And by the time I had met Lisa, I was up around 350 pounds. And I was living life, but I was on the high blood pressure medicine. I didn't get around. I didn't do much. I sat around and watched TV, and I fell and hurt myself and ended up in the hospital. And they couldn't even get me up on a scale. They had to weigh me on a bed. And at that point, we talked, and she said, we're going to have to do something about it. So I got out of the hospital and got recouped, and I started on Nutrisystem, which I had already done every diet anybody ever brought into the office. Somebody talked about a diet, I would try it. I did keto at least a dozen times. And I mean, I would see good results. First month, 2 months, you'd lose 30, 40 pounds, but it wasn't sustainable. I mean, 4 or 5 months into it, you couldn't do it anymore, and you'd end up just putting the weight right back on. I mean, it just has come back as fast as it went off. So I was fighting up and down, up and down. I couldn't exercise like I wanted to because I was big. I mean, 367 pounds just getting up and down out of a chair is weightlifting. So I started on Nutrisystem, and it only took me a month of that to realize I didn't like that at all. But during that time, she was doing these video calls and stuff with you and talking about things that I just started listening to her and listening to what she was talking about, and started paying attention and started doing a little bit of what she was doing for my breakfasts and lunch. And the next thing I noticed is I put into the plan, I wanted to lose about 2 pounds a week. And for just by balancing out my meals, I started losing weight. I mean, it got me excited. I mean, I wasn't losing like 25 pounds in the first month. I lost 2 pounds a week, and it went on for about 6 months. And it got to the point where I'd listen to her, and the main thing I got out of it was balancing my meals. I honestly didn't do a lot on the watching what fats I eat, because for some reason I'm blessed with good blood. I don't know, my cholesterol numbers and all that have always been perfect, even when I was at my worst weight. But I just started dropping pounds, and then the next thing I knew, I stuck with it. I didn't eat in between meals like I had been. I didn't have snacks, didn't have to have snacks. I didn't feel like I wanted them. And all I did was make sure I balanced my meals and weighed the stuff so I knew what I was eating, which I know portion control is a good thing on anything, but making sure you get carbs and protein. And then I would try to, I would hear her say something about limits on fat. So I basically didn't pay attention to what the fat was, but I tried to keep the limits down and not be exceedingly high. I mean, when I eat an egg, I got to have yolk with it. I'm sorry. If I had cholesterol, I'd worry about it, but I don't. I like yolks. So, but next thing I knew, it was 6, 8 months. I was creeping up on 100 pounds gone, and I ended up in the first year getting about 110 pounds off, and got down to, I think it was 247. And then we took my mother in to live with us, and she had dementia. So it got a little bit more of a struggle. And then the last few months that she was with us, we had to spend a lot of time in nursing homes and eating at restaurants. And basically, I just quit doing everything. And I gained back about 10 pounds. But when I started getting concerned about gaining it back on, just talking to Lisa and just saying, you just got to reset and get back into it and start paying attention. And sure enough, I've knocked 7 of that back off again now. And I'm on my way down, and I'm shooting for 200, because I mean, I'm at 263 right now, and that's still obese for me, but I'm on my way again, and I'm coming back down. So I quit taking blood pressure medicine a year ago and hadn't had any problems at all, no need for it. And I just the little things that people don't realize. Just getting out of an easy chair, something when you're 6'4" tall and you weigh over 300 pounds, trying to get your body, because the chairs aren't built to where your body's in the right position for coming up out of a chair when you're that tall, and trying to get your weight all shifted up. I mean, I was basically bench pressing 300 pounds every time I had to get out of a chair. And now I can just lean forward and step up out of a chair. I can get down on the ground, get up without any problems. She's got me in the gym 3 or 4 times a week. And I remember when we started that, I couldn't even hardly do a squat. And now I can do them with weights on and stuff. So it's been a big plus. And all I did was just watched her and listened to what she was talking about. And if I can do it with just that much info, I know she's got the info that could teach people to do anything they want. And it really isn't hard. I mean, when I go to think about what I'm going to cook for supper, I can actually think of it in macros as far as what I want to put together to make my meal balanced. And it's not hard to come up with what you want. And it works perfectly. And I love to grill. So I grill probably 4 or 5 nights a week. And we managed to balance the meals out with grilled meat and vegetables. And I mean, everybody talks about how hard it is and how much time it takes. It doesn't. After a while, you really kind of know what you're shooting for and the weights you need. And it, and I still use the program to put it in to tell me if I've miscalculated something. I know to cut back on this or that and do something like that. But and it's been over 2 years now. And I mean, it's been 24 years since I've had weight off for this long. I mean,
wow. And so what did you think versus what all had you tried before?
I tried everything.
I'll go through like what specifics so others can see out there, like if they're feeling like, man, this Nutrisystem is not working for me, or what had y'all together like tried?
I tried. Have you ever heard of the cabbage soup diet?
Yes.
I did that for almost a month. It almost killed me. I can't even look at cabbage soup anymore without getting sick. And it works. I mean, but it's designed to drop weight fast, but it's not sustainable. I mean, you can't keep it off. And keto is one of them that you go back when you don't know what you're doing. It's easy to go back to because you're going to get weight off right off the bat. But I mean, it's impossible to keep it. You just can't maintain your life. I mean, you could if you did keto and then went to what you are doing, but keto tries to get you to transition to basically the same thing you're teaching. They just don't explain it that way. I mean, they want you to start working carbs back into your diet and everything. But this is so easy. I mean, you don't ever have, it's not like, well, what do we got to buy that we can eat? We can buy anything. It's just how we put it together is how it works for us. It's not what it is, it's how you use it and how you put it together. And I think, isn't that about right? And so, I mean, as far as together, we had never dieted together before until that came up. She's ever since I've met her, and we've been married for 10 years, and she's always looking for something that could, like she said, something she could lose weight, maintain weight, and live a healthy lifestyle. Her goal in life is to be able to play with her kids till the last day of her life, play for grandkids and do things with them. And she's a go-getter. She's always wanting to get outside and do stuff. So we didn't ever get together on anything till we started doing this. And then she was basically doing it, and I was just eavesdropping and getting the nuggets that I could get off of her and taking advantage of it.
Wow. And how would you say for both of you, this has actually impacted you as far as where you were physically, what you couldn't do before joining MFL, and then where you're currently at, like as far as energy and physical mobility? Give us the before and where you're at now for each of you.
Well, I know for myself before joining the program, I had the surgery and stuff, but I had a lot of inner inflammation going on. And so I had inflammation going on. I felt tired. I had indigestion, just horrible. I would try to walk on the treadmill and just be miserable and just struggle my way through it. And the scale would go up, and I would add some more on and exercise and stuff. And so for me, once getting on the program, and it took about 2 months for me to start feeling the inflammation going away, and to where I actually quit taking the omeprazole because I wasn't in pain. And so I quit thinking about it. And then all of a sudden it hit me. My goodness, I think it's been a couple of months since I took omeprazole, for the indigestion and stuff. And so that was a huge, huge plus for me, was being able to um, for that, to have my energy and not be in pain. And I was thinking about it earlier today too. I mean, I had lost a lot of hair, and you were saying you've got to have this much protein. You need to up your protein. And when I started eating more protein, then I started getting my hair back. My hair got thicker and my skin cleared up. And, there's an awful lot of pluses to doing this for health.
And what would you say? So prior to the program, you had interstitial cystitis. You had problems with diverticulitis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are all symptoms of inflammation, right? And then
Yes.
any other inflammations? Did you have any achy joints or anything like that prior?
I had the achy joints. Oh my word. Yes. I would have achy joints. Um, and yes, I would have all of that. The painful bladder, always feeling like I had a bladder infection, but I would go in and get tested, and they told me, no, you don't have one. Well, then I went in and was tested from a gynecologist, and she said, well, you have interstitial cystitis. You just got to live with this. And I thought, oh my word, feeling like you've got a bladder infection when you don't really have one, and there's no, they're saying there's no cure for it or anything, but once I started doing the program, the I guess it was a flare, of inflammation, and the inflammation going down. I mean, all of that subsided. So,
And what amount of time would you say that these symptoms of the diverticulitis, interstitial cystitis, and those big symptoms of inflammation, how long before you noticed from starting the program?
it was probably a couple of months. It was well, it might have been a couple weeks after starting to balance the food and pay attention, and then you went through the pairing classes, and when I started pairing the food and stuff. So yeah, I would say it was probably about 2 months that I started really noticing a difference.
And how long before you started MFL did you have those symptoms? How long did you have to endure the indigestion, the interstitial cystitis, and diverticulitis?
I had to endure that it was at least 2 years, possibly longer. Yeah, and it was, I can remember walking on the treadmill, just struggling to get through the time I needed to be on there, and thinking, I just felt hopeless, like I'm going to have to live with this the rest of my life and feel this way. And, not even being able to enjoy grandkids, and my kids would call wanting me to go do something with them. And, they quit even calling to ask me, because every time they'd call, I'd be like, well, I'm just tired. I just don't feel like it today. But now, we'll go hike and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm able to be there for them through, now. So that means a lot to me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what do you think you realize all that was going on, like how much it was impacting you until we actually got rid of it?
No, I don't. And I don't think I even realized I had all that inflammation going on in my system And even after I had the surgery, there was no one, to tell me, okay, now that you've had the surgery, now you need to do this or that. It was just like, stay away from tomatoes. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me much, So
And so, what is your thought now? Because you've been with me over a couple of years now, and all of these things. Well, I mean, how does that make you feel? Like you're back, you're trusting the medical system, you're having surgery, and they're telling you basically it's hopeless, live with it, and then you come through, and we're working together to lose weight.
yeah,
But in the process of helping you to lose the weight, we're actually healing your body inside out. Like, how does that feel from they're telling you it's hopeless, there's nothing to do, to, your proof, like it's gone?
that's exactly right. Well, I yeah, I mean, I'll go to them if I have to, but I'm just very thankful that I feel like that I've, been healed or cured from that stuff. Um, from all the inflammation, a lot of the problem was the inflammation. And I'm thinking, why you go into the doctor for help? I don't understand why they don't address some of these things. It doesn't make sense to me, but I guess I don't know.
Okay. And David, what about you? So we, like, prior to the program, obviously you had over 100 and something pounds, that you were heavier, you were on blood pressure medication. Physically, take us through, like, I mean, physically, how did that feel then? Like, were you having any trouble breathing? Could you get down on the floor and get back up? Like, what are some changes? Take us, for those that are who out there that are sitting in your place, feeling like this is absolutely hopeless. When I got to 300 pounds, that I really can't lose 100 pounds in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot of medical or let me say this, I didn't know if I had medical problems because I didn't go to the doctor very often. But I know that just things that you don't even think about, being able to sleep when you're that heavy and that big, you can't even roll over without waking up, basically having to try to get up to just roll over and get into another position. So I wasn't sleeping hardly at all with that much weight on. Now I have no problem. I can lay on any side. I can even lay on my stomach if I want to, which I never could before. And as far as getting up and down off the floor, there wasn't no way I'd do it. I mean, if somebody dropped on the floor, I'd have somebody come pick it up. I wasn't going to get down there and try to get to it. And fortunately, I had a job where I was a supervisor, which may have been on the bad side too, because I spent most of my time either just standing or sitting in a chair and watching somebody do the work. But I mean, it's hard to go back and try to figure out everything I couldn't do. But I do know that now I have no problem I'm up and down all day long. I don't struggle getting in and out of chairs. When I go out to do something in the yard, I don't have to struggle with it. I mean, if I walked out to the mailbox and back 3 years ago, it'd take me 20 minutes to catch my breath. I mean, I couldn't hardly even breathe. And I knew the weight was causing some lung problems. Now, I don't know whether it's helped them any, but I know that they told me in some earlier x-rays that the lower part of my lung wasn't expanding because the fat was pushing up against the lung, and if it didn't use it, it quits trying to use it. So, but I mean, I feel like it's better. I don't have shortness of breath or anything like that anymore. I honestly hadn't tried to go run or anything. I'm a little bit old for that, but I think I could if I needed to. As far as my knees, the weight problem makes it better on my knees. There's still the damage I did just from running and stuff I did to my knees, but I'm not having to worry about them now. It's not painful to walk. I can actually get up and walk from the living room to the bathroom without having to struggle just to move and go. I mean, that's the main thing, is just to physically be able to just get up and do things like I did when I was younger. I mean, I had to, it's hard to believe it in thinking of it now, that 22 years of struggling to get out of a chair, or if I came into a room and all they had was little small stools or something, trying to figure out how I was going to get down on one and back up out of it, having to have people help me out of chairs because I got too low and there wasn't no way I could get my weight back up ahead of me. And it's amazing. I mean, and the thing about it is the greatest feeling for me is, I know I haven't lost a bunch in the last year, but the fact that I haven't gained a bunch is what it means more to me than anything else. I know I still got weight I need to get off, but I'm still very pleased with the fact that I lost 100 pounds and I've still got 100 pounds off that I lost. I haven't gained any of it back. Well, I gained a little bit, but then I'm losing it again. And you know, it just, it's not easy to explain. I mean, blood pressure, that was easy when, you know, once I got the weight off, the heart don't have to pump as hard to get the blood around that body. As huge as it was, I can imagine. So the blood pressure came down. I just quit taking my medicine. I didn't go to a doctor to ask them about it, but I go enough now to know that I don't have any problems with my blood pressure.
And how long had you been on that blood pressure medication?
Since I guess I started taking it in 1993.
Oh, wow. For those of you tuning in, if you're on a blood pressure medication, just to let you know that automatically all blood pressure medications raise your blood sugar. So just being on a blood pressure medication alone is going to increase your risk, like double your risk for diabetes over time, and then increase your cholesterol and even risk for stroke. So the very med that you may be put on can literally cause way worse than lowering the blood pressure. But secondhand, kind of like secondhand smoke is worse. Secondhand, we're increasing. So if you're struggling with that weight and you're on some of these medications, that may be why. Now, I can't tell you to take off those medications, but I would tell you to work with your practitioner. And obviously, the nutrition is going to be the first part. No matter what you do with medications, that nutrition is almost all medications, as far as blood pressures, cholesterol, diabetes medications, even PCOS. These things can generally be reversed through proper application and balance of macros, like we learn in the Macros for Life program. So David and Lisa, if y'all don't mind sharing, could you share your ages so we can show the audience who is over 40 that it is not impossible to lose weight without dieting?
I just turned 60.
And I'll be 67 this month.
And so this is proof right here that I hear this all the time. Michelle, I'm 45. I'm 55. I'm 58. I can't lose the weight. Macros are hopeless for me. So what would both of you say to someone that is saying, I'm too old to lose the weight, that are sitting in similar circumstances as you were?
You're not.
Mm-mm.
I don't think there's an age limit on just balancing your meals and getting the right nutrition. That there's no reason you can't do it at any age.
Mm-hmm. And
all right. And so with MFL, I teach, all right, that we can eat all foods that maybe a lot of people think that we can't eat, as long as we learn, and through the program, we learn how to balance our meals. So we don't feel like we're giving anything up. So we can actually eat things that we think we couldn't. So prior to MFL, when you were on a diet or trying to lose weight, what were some of the foods that you felt you had to avoid or give up?
For me, I felt like I couldn't have a baked potato. I couldn't have, I couldn't have the birthday cake at my grandchild's birthday party. That was huge. And you know, just certain foods that I couldn't have, like the baked potato and things like that. I would steer clear of. Um, if I went out to eat, I'd look for the lightest thing on the menu, you know, and stick with that, even if it was something I didn't like.
And how long were you living like that, like avoiding those foods? Or if you ate them, you felt horrible, like about eating them?
Well, I did that
My
for
whole life.
he said his whole life. I did it for several years. Yeah.
And wow. And what do y'all think? I mean, how's that feel like now? You can literally go have burgers and fries, and everything doesn't have to be perfect. You can literally go out there if you wanted to have a piece cheesecake or whatever. How does that feel like you can literally do this anywhere, anytime, and don't need a scale?
It feels like freedom.
Yep. It's great.
Yep. I go to my grandkids' birthday parties, and I can have the cupcake and enjoy it.
And what were they thinking? Like, here's Grandma Lisa who didn't eat cupcakes very often, and now Grandma Lisa's eating cupcakes and cake with us. Did they say anything?
It just, you know, at first it was like they were shocked because they hadn't seen me do it. But, you know, then I would tell them, well, this is how I'm going to pair it so that I can have it. And they're like, oh, wow, okay. So.
And what about you, David? How's it feel where you said your whole life? What were things that you felt like you couldn't have? And
Well, French fries, baked potato, any kind of bread. I mean, used to, you know, they ever diet say stay away from bread. Well, if you pair it right, I can have bread with every meal. I just got to make sure I get the, you know, I try to get whole wheat bread, something that's good for me, but it's bread, and I can balance it out as long as the carbs and the proteins all balance out. Then it works out for me. And another thing too is I heard y'all talk about so many times is every now and then you're going to eat it unbalanced, and it's not a game stopper. All you got to do is make sure your next meal that you balance out your next meal and reset, and it doesn't make a big difference. I mean, used to, if I was going to eat something that wasn't balanced, I'd just go at it. If I was going to eat pizza, and I'd eat the whole pizza. Because
and then how would you feel when you realize, well, heck, I've ate the whole pizza. So then after that, like, would you just keep eating since you'd already ate that pizza? Was the day just shot and you just kept eating more?
I felt like I needed to, but after this, I learned to restrain myself and get back into a balanced meal. And the thing about it is I was more satisfied after eating a decent balanced meal with the things I enjoy than I was after eating that whole pizza. Pizza tasted good going down. Afterwards, it wasn't so nice. I did not enjoy it after I finished doing it. But
that's funny. That's funny. So can you tell now when you have a properly balanced meal, can you tell how you feel? Like, can you tell the difference in your energy levels versus having your pizza?
I can tell energy level, and I can tell and how quick I get hungry afterwards. I know that when I screw up and eat an unbalanced meal, I'm generally looking for a snack or something very short period of time afterward. I can sit down with her and we can balance out a meal and eat it. And I don't even think about eating for another 2 or 3 hours, even longer sometimes. I mean, it's amazing that it's common sense when you think about it, but it's so easy when it really happens, and it does it to you. I mean, I never would have thought that I could put what I put on my plate, and I think this is not near enough for me, and then eat it and be fulfilled and full and not have to worry about wanting anything else. And I don't usually.
And what would y'all say for those people out there who are joining us today that are on Nutrisystem, that are on Weight Watchers, counting points, obviously, Optavia, taking these weight loss injections, even doing the gastric surgeries? What would you say to them in your experience? Because these are all quick weight loss. They absolutely will be quick and take the weight off. But what would you say, because you both have experience in trying those quick weight loss, what would you say to someone in a quick weight loss program or whatever they're doing right now, to let them know that this is an option if they really wanted to get off of those and be able to enjoy food. What would you say to those people on those programs or on those products or quick weight loss diets?
Well, I don't know what I'd say, but the proof is I did all those programs and all that stuff, and I never kept my weight off. This has been a year of just staying balanced and eating balanced meals that I hadn't gained back any of that weight. It's the first time in my 67 years of fighting weight that I've gone a year. Well, it's been more than a year now. It's been like a year and 4 months, and even struggled through that with some times where I had to really struggle to be able to get a balanced meal, and not so much getting a balanced meal as even having the time to eat at all, because I had other things going on. But by keeping it in mind and everything, I managed to maintain what I had, and I haven't gone backwards. And you don't know that's the most fulfilling part of every bit of this. It's not the 100 pounds is great, but the fact that I've kept it off for over a year now is what really excites me about the program. It's a sustainable program, and it's not anything you got to spend $500 a month for. It's once you do it and you learn it, and then all the other stuff she learns just improves on it and improves on it. It's all it does. But the basics is balance out what you're eating, and you can eat anything you want and still lose weight.
And then, so when y'all started, and of course, because Lisa started the program doing that, when you start, do I tell you that you need to go out and buy all these foods and that's how you're going to get started? Or how do you start, Lisa?
No, the way I started was just buying a scale. And I weighed my food to learn the portion sizes and stuff, and then pairing the foods together and balancing them that way, just making sure I paired my foods, and I still do that. And for somebody that's wondering whether to do this, you can, try all the other things and spend all the other money that you're going to spend on all those things, and you're going to wind up gaining the weight back and looking for something else. Or you can do this and work the program and learn how to eat with the nutrition and stuff. And it's not a hard lifestyle to live. It's very, very sustainable and enjoyable, actually.
Yeah.
And David, you don't really track or anything, right? You've just learned the concepts of how to kind of take food.
Yeah, I don't track it as like she does. I'll stick it in that little MyFitnessPal just to see what the numbers come out at the end. Because like I said, I'm getting to the point now where I can think about what I'm going to cook and put together the items I need to make it balance out. And then I'll maybe stick it in there after I put it on my plate and see how it looks and make sure I didn't miscalculate something, or I may cut back a potato a little bit or cut off a piece of steak some. But I mean, that's the main thing is I can eat steak and potatoes, and as long as I balance it out, it works for me. I lose weight. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Does it seem almost unreal? All the things that we are taught in mainstream diet culture don't actually work.
Right. It does.
It's just unbelievable, honestly.
I mean, I'm sold on it. I mean, if I could keep doing this, and I can't think of any reason why I would change what we do. I have no doubt that I'm just going to keep getting weight off, and I'm going to get to the point where I'm 100% comfortable. And the main thing is it's a type of diet that, if you want to call it a diet, it's a meal plan or whatever you want to call it, that will fulfill me when I reach the weight I want to be at. All I got to do is just maintain it by balancing out my meals and everything. If I turn around and just say, well, now I'm going to start eating 26 ounce steaks and 2-pound potatoes. Well, dang, I'm going to put weight back on. There's, you can't be an idiot about it, but it's something that I don't have to change after I lose the weight to keep maintaining my weight.
And what do you say? One of the most common misconceptions I hear from people that hear macros are, I really just don't have the time to get started to do that. Does it really take a lot of time to do this?
No.
Not at all. Not at all. I thought it would too, but it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
I mean, when you track a meal, literally, how much time does it really take to track a meal?
Seconds.
30 seconds.
Seconds, right? Seconds. And to actually just balance, just to look in your pantry and to put something together with a thought process, literally how much time on average does it take either of you? Because now you know how to do it.
Oh, it doesn't take just a few minutes. I mean, I don't even have to look in the pantry. I can just think what I want and get up, go start grabbing it. And once I put it together, it balances out. So, I mean, I'm fairly confident that I'm not as confident on the fat contents and getting the proper fat and that. I'm still working on that, and she's teaching me about that. But as far as keeping it balanced and keeping the fat as low as I can and knowing that I got to have a certain amount of fat in each meal, I can do it. I do it every evening when I'm thinking about what I'm going to put out for supper tonight, or every morning. And I can just sit there and think about what we got and put a little meal together, and sure enough, it balances out.
So just to make sure, so I can just reiterate to the audience, because I know I hear so often, I'm going to spend so much time on my calculator trying to figure out how to make my meals. Is there really any of this going on?
No.
They're right. These are total myths that we see in mainstream diet culture, that we've got to have meal plans and we've got to have macros. In actuality, all we need to do is we need to understand nutrition and how to balance foods. At the end of the day, my students don't even know macros for several weeks. You could get macros, but it doesn't really matter if you reach them or not. It's how good you put that meal together that's balanced.
That's right. Because I don't hit my macros very often.
Some people never hit their macros, but you don't need to. When we say balance, what we're doing is we're putting, anytime we eat together, we're putting a meal together. So we would never eat something like almonds by themselves with a weight loss or body composition goal. We would learn how to put the appropriate type of protein and carbs with fat. So, and that could be done with any of those macronutrients. So the next thing, I have a lot of people who travel, like they travel on the road a lot. And I hear this, I'm traveling all the time and I don't have time to be home in my kitchen, so I can't start macros right now. What would y'all say to that, since you travel a lot?
Well, when we've traveled and I've had time, I'll boil some eggs up or something like that and plan a little bit ahead. But if we can't, then we'll just go into a convenience store when we're getting gas and we'll look down through what they've got and pick something out of there.
Okay. So would you say,
Another thing too,
you do this outside of your home?
Oh, I was just going to say, we've been doing it long enough now that we can basically look at a menu and tell about what we're going to put together to balance out. I mean, we know if I'm going to eat steak, I need to get a little bit of carbs, type of potato, and basically without weighing something, you can look at it after you've done it so many times. You can look at it and tell. I guarantee you're getting within a few ounces of where it's at. You're going to be pretty balanced. I mean, we don't have a problem at all going in and ordering a meal, knowing what we put together in the past. We can put that together in a restaurant the same way. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not really a big problem. I mean, the biggest problem about traveling is making sure you stop and eat when you need to. That's my biggest problem. Is I'll go all day long without eating because I'm too busy. And I ran into that problem when I was with my mother in the home. I'd spend the day with her and spend all day with her, and then I'd go get stop to eat, instead of eating something during the day while I was doing this, I would stop and eat, and I'd way overeat, and it wasn't balanced, but it didn't take me long to realize I was screwing up. I mean, one time stepping on the scale and seeing it go the wrong way, I knew I needed to. So the main thing is we've learned to, when we stop somewhere, we go ahead and start thinking, well, let's go ahead and get us some meal in, because it's, we're halfway through our trip and stuff. Let's, instead of just buying chips and candy and stuff like that to keep you going, we go ahead and stop and get a meal. And we can pretty much, and she's real good at it, as far as looking at a menu and figuring out what to get and balance it out. And it's generally balanced.
And when y'all have done you've done these other fad diets. I know Lisa had mentioned before that she's done Singular before, and you've done Nutrisystem. When you were doing any of these programs or products or quick weight loss, what happened when you didn't have, like, say, that Nutrisystem you were supposed to have, or you were supposed to have that keto? What happened when you fell off of that? Like, can you walk me through the mind process? Did you fall off of what you were eating? Did you gain weight real fast when you were on these products versus now, if you overindulge, what happens?
Well, I know for myself, with the whole diet mentality of all or nothing, if I didn't have something that I was supposed to have, then, I just was big failure, and felt like I just ruined everything, because I didn't have one thing I was supposed to have, and stuff. And but with this, it's not that way. So the whole diet mentality of all or nothing, working the program, your program, and learning to reset and stuff like that, I don't ever feel like a failure. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll reset.
And could you talk with us? Obviously, right, the program has, I would say, 95% of the content to give you to make your transformation. The support calls is you kind of share, kind of like their jewels. Could you share with us a little bit within the MFL program? And I know we mentioned some of the things about the diet mentality, of some of the things we actually talk about that you feel are very helpful in support calls, and how they help you, even help him.
The support calls are, the program gives you what you need to lose weight and get healthy and feel better and pair your foods and stuff like that. But in the support calls is where you'll pick up nuggets of little treasures, I call it, of knowledge with macros, because how everything you do is just mind-boggling to me. But
thank you.
And it would take to put a program together to teach everything would just be overwhelming. But in the support calls, as you're working with us and talking to us about stuff, and teaching us in the support calls, then you'll cover little nuggets. And I think, I was looking at some notes a while ago, getting ready for this, and saw where, I'll listen to the support calls and take notes about things. And so the group and the way we encourage each other and support each other and share things in the group about meals or anything, just working out, or just anything, and posting in the group and supporting each other. That's big to me. That's very helpful and very motivational. And I appreciate all you in our group.
Thank you. Thank you. And then, Lisa, what do you think the difference is with the MFL program? You have lifetime access. What does that mean to you versus if you had just 1 year access?
Well, it was one of the things that I used when talking to my husband right at the start. Like, I told him the cost, and I'm like, but it's for a lifetime, and to me, it'd be worth it anyway because of what I've learned and what a difference it's made in my life. It'd be worth it anyway if it was for a year. But knowing that there are the support calls, and we have for as long as we want to, and for a lifetime, can draw on the knowledge and support and all of that. That's I don't understand somebody not being willing to do it. It just baffles me. And when they say, "Oh, that sounds so hard," that I don't understand it. And so you can either spend the money to be in this program and benefit from it for a lifetime, or you can spend it in the hospital. That's how I look at it. And I would rather spend it here and enjoy life. So.
Right. And then Lisa, one last question here. So often I'll hear, well, after I lose my weight, which generally will be the first year, and you lost your weight within that time, once I lose the weight, why would I need access to the program? So what would be your answer there for someone who has lost it and who still utilizes the program? Why does it benefit you after you've lost the weight?
For me, it's because of the constant refresher, of going over stuff, and the motivation, and being a help to others in the group. They'll, yeah. I mean, it just, I'm very thankful for it. I lost the weight in the first year, but I'm very thankful for the group and for having the support calls and all of that.
Do you feel like after you lost the weight that a huge part of it for you, at least emotionally, do you feel like having ongoing support is a crucial part of your long-term success?
I do, and it's very helpful. And I cannot imagine for the rest of my life, I cannot imagine not tracking my macros, not balancing and pairing my foods, and the Macros for Life group is very helpful with that.
Awesome. And what about you, David? For someone, right? This has been a little over 2 years, and you've had an incredible amount of success. Over 100 pounds. That's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And that amount of time. What do you think if the program was just a year? Do you think the ongoing support is helpful to you, that she has access?
Absolutely. I mean, she keeps me going. I think if you cut off the support, that's the bad thing about us Americans. We got it too easy, right? And without being able to tune back into it every night, I think we forget. It's so easy. And I think that's the reason why a lot of the little diet plans and stuff never works, because you don't have support. After you've been into it for 2 or 3 months and you've lost some weight, you feel good about yourself, then the next thing you know, before long, you start drifting back into the things you were doing prior to you ever getting started. It's so easy for us to forget. And to me, she's just a constant reminder, that it's not just the weight loss, it's the increase in health. It's the being healthier that matters too. I mean, hopefully we'll all get to the weight we want to be at, but I want to stay there and be as healthy as I can possibly be from that point on. And I don't want to forget why or how I did it and start going back to the old ways of eating and not taking care of myself. So I'm glad she's in it for life, because I know that I will be too.
Awesome. And because I know she's done the program, y'all have done some of the things together, and you did Nutrisystem. When you were losing weight actively on there, did you feel as good as you feel now?
Oh, no.
In the MFL method that you're doing now?
Oh, I did. Well, absolutely not. I didn't like the food for one thing, and I think I would have quit that no matter what. I wouldn't stay with that program.
But even the ketogenic diet, did y'all, I mean, any of those things, do you notice a difference in how you feel versus now how you can
Oh
eat?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I don't think there was ever a diet that I was on that I didn't feel like I was having to give something up to be on it, and just looking forward to the day that I could quit having to give it up. Where this one, it's regular food. I don't have to ever worry about giving it up, and going back to the old way, because this is the way it's going to be. I mean, it's balanced. The keto, I mean, I don't think I ever felt good. I know I lost the weight, but I never felt energetic or anything like that, because I was doing bad things to my body that I didn't even know about doing it to start with. And I was extreme in doing it too. I mean, I didn't just stay in ketosis for the 2 weeks like it asked you to do. I'd stay for months at a time to try to see if I could maximize my weight loss, which that's completely ridiculous, because it just drives you to the point of utter failure. I mean, emotional failure, physical failure, everything just goes away. Where this is, I'm 2.5, almost 3 years into it, and I don't feel like I didn't want to change anything. I mean, I feel good. I've got energy. When I do get sick with colds and flu and stuff like that, I get over it quicker. I bounce back faster, and it's not a battle. I'm not eating something somebody's prescribed to me to eat. I'm putting together my own meals, and I can eat what I want to eat. So I can't see a reason to change.
Okay, I have a question here that I'm seeing from the audience, and it is: do you? And I'm just reading how it says though. Basically, do you have to? I mean, is it really, really hard that you have to learn? Did either of you have a nutrition background or any of this before you come into MFL?
No, not at all.
So would you say that is something that if you don't understand anything about macros, that you could come into MFL and do well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I lost 100 pounds, and I didn't know nothing about nutrition at all. So
okay. So you don't need to go. You don't need a college course in nutrition. They're telling you it takes seconds. So we're not using no calculator. All of these myths that we see from people online. To be able to lose the weight. They didn't get a grocery list, right? Y'all, you use your own, right? Whatever you want to go get, you just go buy your food.
We buy what we like.
Yeah, so they're enjoying the food that they like. They don't have a shopping list. Of course, we learn the difference in different types of nutrition, but they're learning how to put that together.
Yes.
So the last thing before, because I want to be respectful of y'all's time, Lisa and David, what would you say to someone watching this that is on the fence and they have been in your shoes, that they are stuck, they can't get the weight off, they're feeling like they're old or whatever, and that it's too late to do this? If they're on the fence of joining the program, what would each of you say to them so they would understand or be where they're at today versus y'all experience what it's like to be here?
For me, if they're having the health issues and things like that I was, if they could only understand how much better I feel, and I just can't. I can't imagine not doing this. I can't understand why somebody would ride the fence with it and put off being able to feel better and get the weight off and get back to enjoying life and living life. I don't know why they would not want to do it. That's something I just don't. I would say, do yourself a favor and get in on this so that you can get your get yourself feeling better and enjoy your life.
And Lisa, someone in your similar shoes are struggling to lose weight and they feel like it's not the right time. What would you say when someone says, and they're in this circumstance, they have these issues, and this is a daily struggle in their head? What's your thoughts behind it's not the right time?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I've heard people say, well, we're not going to have a baby yet because it's not the right time. And I'm thinking, well, if you wait for the right time, then you're not going to have one. Well, if you wait for the right time to do this, then there's never going to be a right time. But to me, it's wrong to put it off. It's just the wrong time to put it off. If you're having these issues and stuff, this is the right time to get in on it.
Okay. And thanks for sharing, Lisa. And David, what about you? Someone struggling on the fence. What's your side of this? They're struggling on the fence. They're feeling like it's hopeless, or it's just free to do this ketogenic diet right here, or I think I'll just go the easy way and do some Nutrisystem. What would you say to someone like that?
I don't know. I mean, I just have to say from my experience, do you want to succeed or do you want to just keep doing different things over and over again? I mean, everybody's got to make up their own mind, but I'm telling you right now, this is the simplest thing I've ever done in my life. And it's the first success story I've ever had in 67 years. So I can't see that anything could be better than going ahead and giving it a shot anyway, because it don't take long once you start getting into it before you realize that it's the answer to what we've been looking for. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're looking for a way to lose weight and feel better at the same time. There's not any other plans out there that I've tried, and I've tried a bunch of them that you're going to get success with without doing something like this. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's when do you want to succeed, or when do you want to keep trying over and over again? Free or not free, I mean, how valuable is your health?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, right. Even in your short trip, right. You mentioned because you had fallen and went to the hospital. What was the cost of that one bill? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't. It was in.
But we can bet that it was a few thousand.
Yeah, it was at least $6,000.
I mean that's the point. I wanted to just share one minor. We're not talking about an ICU trip. We're talking about a minor hospitalization stay is thousands of dollars.
Right.
Versus being able to not only lose weight but use the method to reverse your health problems. And a lot of these things are like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these things just create another health condition. Right. I say this, I teach this in my program. We don't get sick. We create our illnesses through not understanding how we're living in our lifestyle factors and stress and nutrition and lifestyle. And would y'all not both agree that just simply through learning how to balance the nutrition without a grocery list, that you've managed and reversed a lot of all of these symptoms that y'all had?
Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's 100% right.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, is that not crazy?
That's it.
It's wonderful.
I mean, the doctors, right? The doctors that are out there that have years behind this license have not provided either of you a methodology to be able to manage blood pressure, manage interstitial cystitis, manage diverticulitis, and even lower the cholesterol, like do all of these things without a medication or some type of hospitalization. Would you agree? They want to prescribe you a medication or they want you to stay, but there's no methodology as far as nutrition and what you can do to correct this naturally. Have y'all ever had any of that done?
Nope.
Not until getting into this program.
So All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just running through the chat here. I kind of see we've got some comments with a little pukey face on the cabbage soup.
I agree.
Somebody obviously has done the cabbage soup diet.
That was horrible.
And some of these names I can't see. Some I can see that they're from the Macros Beginners group too. Also, saying thanks so much for sharing your story. Lots of those kind of thing in there. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. So, and one last thing, if either of their story resonates with you and you are struggling, you are at a place, just drop apply in the chat and fill out that application, and I will reach out to you where you are directly going to speak with me. And what would either of you say to someone that is like, hey, I need a push? What's the final words for them?
Do it.
Go for it.
You know,
It's worth it.
All right. I want to thank Lisa and David so much for your time. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and cheering them on, and also for joining them. I know they not only inspired me, but I know they inspire even the people in our program and even people that are in our other platforms that watch and follow us. And I want to thank everyone for joining. And again, I want to thank Lisa and David for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
so that way.
Bye-bye.